Hello there! So as you can see, the weather is pretty nice today, so I thought it'd be a good time to record a little vlog explaining all the crafty things I did over the holiday, because as you may know, I decided to take a break from posting videos because I had a lot of things to do. I had a few art markets to prepare for, and I also wanted quality time to hang out with my friends and family, and also all of my Christmas presents that I'm giving to other people require me to spend a lot of time crafting, so yeah, I just kind of feel like I needed to take a step back and really focus on what's really pertinent. So anyway, imagine this. It is November, it was my birthday, daylight savings happened, and I was finishing up my last video of the year. The first non-YouTube related thing I did was have a big ol' anxiety attack, which is probably a further reinforcement that I needed to take a break and I was super overwhelmed. I'm fine now, by the way. But the first crafting thing I did over the holidays, let me pull up my notes. I did a ton of vintage cat commissions. This was kind of unplanned, so I didn't super openly advertise that I was doing commissions, mostly because I was supposed to be taking a break, as you may recall. But also, these commissions just sounded like so much fun that I took all of them, basically. And here are some of the pictures that I drew, which you will see on screen right now. They're all traditional pencil sketches. I had them mailed out to each commissioner, and some of them also came with frames, and that was a bit of trouble to figure out because I very rarely send things in packages. Most of my stuff is sent out in letter mail, and so I had to really figure out how to wrap everything perfectly so that they don't crack in transit, especially all the glass in the frames. And it didn't succeed in some cases, but luckily we got all of that sorted out, so crisis averted. But yeah, I'm super grateful to everyone who commissioned me. It allowed me to have some extra Christmas cash. Next thing I did, let's see. So I got to working on my abundance of Christmas presents. It's very difficult to give presents to adults because they can just buy anything they already want. So anything that I give has to be something they can't really acquire themselves, but also I want to make sure it's actually something that is useful. So for my brother, because he's been working on his little backyard garden, I decided to paint a little garden sign. I bought the base for I think $1 or $2 at a thrift store, and then I just painted a little cute design on it. And then when my dad heard my plans for my brother's Christmas present, he also wanted a garden sign too, so I also painted him one because outside scratching at the door. You know, cats, they scratch on the door and when you try to let them in, they won't come in. Anyway, I painted one for him as well. I know this doesn't look like anything, it looks like a big piece of chocolate. And that's because this is the back side, I'm letting it dry out. And I realized that because this is probably going to be hung outdoors, I need to find a way to make it waterproof so that all my hard work doesn't just immediately turn into rotted wood. So I've dug out these pieces of MDF. I'm going to simulate some painting on these, and then I'm going to try Watco lacquer and my trusty satin poly and see if that ruins the paint in any way. And if it does ruin the paint, then I'll figure something else out. Now, the internet says we have to let these dry for at least 24 hours before we try to varnish them, so 24 hours it is. So for my dad's garden sign, I'm going to be using this Christmas It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year sign that I got from the thrift store for $2 as a base. I'm gonna go outside and prime this, and in the meantime, I thought I should also finally test out my acrylic paint samples. I'm using a random Lego catalog as the drop sheet, and it's just reminding me how much I want a Lego set. There's this Lego Friends set that has little axolotls, and I want it. Here we have my poly Watco lacquer and the crappiest brushes I have. I got one coat of lacquer on here. It does not seem to be smearing or anything, although a strange line just appeared over the green marker here. Do you see that? How strange. I guess we'll see how that develops. Now onto the poly. So the poly is now also done. I definitely see a difference in color. This one looks a lot more warm. I don't see any smearing, smudging, streaking, whatever. Anyway, then let these sit. Alright guys, please don't spontaneously combust. Moment of truth. Let's see if anything happened. And it looks like the paint is completely undisturbed. Same for both of them. Of course, the problem is that this says it's not meant for exterior surfaces, and I'm pretty sure the poly also says the same thing. Interior. Dang it. So, taking inspiration from this folk art dresser that I found online, this is what I mocked up. Welcome to Dave's Garden. And here's kind of the color scheme I've got going on. And I've printed this out right here. I'm gonna cover the back with charcoal and then trace them onto the sign, which I've already painted the base colors of. Now it's time to paint it. So after researching all morning, I finally decided I'm going to get this Varathane diamond wood finish, crystal clear non-yellowing, blah 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 blah. Most importantly, UV and weather resistant. It's water-based, which means it won't melt the acrylic paint. Water-based also means it's water cleanup, which is nice because I don't have any solvent or mineral spirits. But just to make sure everything will turn out fine, I drew up another sample piece, and I'll test it once I actually get my hands on this. Also, a weird thing that happened is that the Canadian Tire website keeps thinking I'm in Alberta for some reason. Assigned Albertan against my will. So I finally got my hands on this Varathane diamond wood finish in satin. I wanted to get this as early as I could, but I probably could have got it even earlier because this does have a 3-day drying time for use. And last year I had a debacle where the thing that I was giving as a present, the poly on it did not dry in time to be gifted, so it was kind of like a weird situation where I feel bad telling someone they can't use their gift unless they let it dry for a few days. Unfortunately, this time around I'm also not working in ideal conditions, which is the same as last year. This is recommended to work with at 13 degrees or above. It is approximately 9 degrees outside in the garage, so this will definitely take more than the recommended time for drying. For reference, today is December 17th, so I'm cutting it really close. It's been about half an hour. The varnish is completely cleared out, and I can confirm that the paint has not been smudged whatsoever. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it is so freaking shiny. I just have one more coat for the top half at least, because once all of that is dry, I gotta flip it around and do the back side because I don't want that side to get rotted either. I think I'm going to wait maybe 2 or 3 days before flipping this around just because I don't want to damage this beautiful finish. So, still keeping in theme with presents that are functional, I made my mom a really thin and long pillowcase out of my frog quilted fabric, which you may remember from my vest video. This dimension is very strange, but it was requested by her because she needed some very specific neck support when she sleeps. I don't have any footage of me making this. I whipped it together pretty quick, so nice and easy, but very meaningful present. Put that aside. So the next present I made for my sister, she saw my DJI camera bag, which I'll grab right now. Oh, Jesus. This very rectangular and sharp bag, and she asked if I could make one for her. This was months ago, by the way. I have no idea if she even remembers asking me this. Ta-da! This is what I ended up making for her. I did attempt to vlog the creation process of this bag. If any of it is coherent, I will also intercut it somewhere here. This is the progress on it so far, and honestly, I'm pretty shocked at how it came out. It's looking pretty similar. The only thing I'm missing right now is I don't think she wants the compartment because she didn't really look inside. She just wanted the shape. But yeah, I need to add some kind of hard shell lining on the inside just so it retains that angular shape. The thing is, I really didn't need to copy the order of operations directly. Like, I could have just made a rectangular pattern, which is pretty easy, but I really wanted to figure out how they got all of this in one piece and like the way the pieces are joined together, folded into each other. I took it as a challenge basically, and I somehow managed to copy it, I think exactly. So I stupidly decided to make the inner shell without making a true mock-up first. I just based it off of measurements. And of course this is slightly too big to fit in the bag, so I wasted all of this fancy thick interfacing. This morning, I finally made a proper mock-up version out of paper and can confirm it actually fits. Now I just gotta cut it out of the interfacing. Cut out the interfacing, and it fits pretty snugly in there. Now I just have to cover it with the same grayish, brownish fabric as this one. Look at this Isn't it basically the exact same thing, but this one just looks a lot more aesthetic? I'm actually pretty proud that I figured this out and that it feels nice and sturdy as well. I hope she likes this. I hope she remembers that she even asked me for this. Alright, last batch of presents that I crafted for this holiday season. My sister-in-law came over and she saw the little animal sweater paintings that I did, and she really wanted the frog and toad ones, frilly and turpentine. I told her that if any of them remains unsold after market season, she could have them, but unfortunately, all of the little paintings got sold, so I had to repaint the frog and toad. Here they are in their fully repainted glory, frilly and turpentine. Reunited. I hope she likes these. By the way, I just wanted to make it clear that none of this is explained to you in chronological order. I just grouped them together in a way that would make sense. So the next crafting related thing I wanted to talk about is all the art markets I went to. And by all, I really mean like 2 art markets. So the first market I went to was the Richmond art market at Le Pont Theatre. It is the first time they had this event at this market. I debuted some new zines, Space Slug, which is a comic that I want to write one day, and this little sketchy zine of me spying on my cat sleeping. Both of these will be available at any convention that I'll be in 2026, if I get into any of them. I hear that the competition is quite steep. Us. See, here's the thing. I had no idea that they actually did other things here because this whole time I thought it was just a car dealership. This was a 2-day event on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, we got pretty decent foot traffic, I would say, especially since it was taking place in a kind of strange location, in my opinion. It kind of looks like a car dealership. A lot of people came by, I think probably because it was holiday season and people were on the hunt for little cute Christmas presents. So this event, a lot of the attendees spoke Chinese, and it was really testing my speaking skills because I'm technically fluent in Chinese, Mandarin to be specific, but when I talk to these other Chinese people, it just makes me realize that my vocabulary and grammar are especially bad. I literally sound like a toddler when I'm speaking to them. On the second day, towards the end of the day, I had somebody come up to me and ask for a little casual interview for social media. This interview was in Chinese, by the way, and I tried my very hardest to answer as succinctly as I could. If the video has been posted by the time I'm editing this video, I will also put it up somewhere here. But basically, they asked me about tabling at markets and any advice I can give to newbies and all of that. Hopefully, I gave some good advice. So for this market, I decided to bring a book to read in my spare time because in the past, whenever there's downtime, I would just scroll on my phone and I would just prefer to spend less time staring at my phone screen. So I brought Project Hail Mary, which I wanted to read before the movie came out next year. I think this was a very good decision because I went through that book so freaking fast. This note just says, kids started manhandling Paddington stickers, lol. Surprising thing that happened at this con, it was that I ran into my friend from elementary school. That took me completely by surprise, and it was like such a nice thing to happen because I literally have not spoken to her since elementary school. That is over a decade ago. So yeah, it was like really fun to like talk and catch up, and we took a selfie because there was a selfie booth. I was just super happy and excited to see her. Milo was bought, and now the goose is gone. A few minutes later and the shrimp is gone. Toad is gone. Now Frog is all alone. So in a blitz, Mika, Fish, and Goose are all gone, and this is my stash now. Just 2 of these guys left. Oh, look at them. So lonely over here. So everything is restocked. I'm also bringing some extra bags because I ran out. See you guys tomorrow. So I'm filming in kind of a weird place outside because it was really loud in there and I feel self-conscious vlogging in front of other people. But basically, I'm expecting attendance to be a little lower today. Oh god, there's people. Simply because it is the second day of the event and it's also raining. I'm standing in the rain right now to vlog because I would rather do that than vlog in front of people. But we'll see how it goes. Alright, I gotta go back inside. So my second day predictions were kind of right in that the foot traffic was a little less than the day before. However, it wasn't as little as I thought it would be. There was still a decent amount of people coming in and buying things. So overall, I think I made more profit than I thought I would, which is great because that means more Christmas money for me.
I finished the book. Oh my god.
And then the next market I attended was the Geese Goose Holiday Gander. Geese Goose is a co-op that my friends put together. This is the first year that I'm attending this market as part of the co-op, so that was exciting on its own. In the past, I would have my own table, but this time I decided to table with the co-op so that we could all hang out together. So the Holiday Gander and all of the markets that the co-op puts up are really small indie markets. Our goal is mainly to make sure that there is an event that is super affordable to people who want to get into the tabling business, because by god, table prices have been increasing exponentially. The event is not limited to just new artists, by the way. It's for anybody who wants to join.
Say hi to camera. He's trying to film.
It seems like every time we host a market, it is raining. This time was no exception. It was drizzling, so I kind of expected a bit of a lower attendance. But because it was holiday season, once again, people wanted to buy a cute little Christmas present. So people did show up. I really appreciate everybody who dropped by and said hi. I think the drizzle kind of added to the cozy, fun vibes in there because it was really cold outside, but inside, for the most part at least, it was quite warm. Except towards the end of the day, it got pretty cold, so we had to close the door.
Yeah. Oh, look at you. Oh my gosh. What a talented babe.
I'm not sure what my profits were at the point of recording this video. We hadn't done the math yet, but honestly, I just really liked hanging out with everyone and seeing what everyone was selling, and it was just a good time. Alrighty, so we're coming towards the end of all the crafty things I've done so far this holiday season. My last bullet point here says business cards, so let me explain this a bit. Earlier this year, I ran out of commercially printed business cards, so I've kind of just been freeballing it at all the markets I was going to. And then another piece of context, I have a lot of holographic laminate offcuts from when I make stickers, and I've been looking for an excuse to use them up quickly because this bag is just full of them. Look how thick it is. So I decided to use them to make tiny little business cards. This is probably not a very efficient way of showing you what I'm holding. Ta-da! Little business cards, nice and sparkly. I made these out of my surplus of 4x6 photo papers that I bought from thrift stores in massive packs. I don't sell 4x6 prints that often, so I just have a ton of them that I don't use, so I thought this was a good chance to also use those up. Some of these are also stickers. I will also have these available at any cons I'm at in 2026, so if you see me, just grab one. I did go to a few art markets that I didn't table at. I was just there to look at what's being sold. Most of the stuff I bought was food, which I then promptly ate, so I can't really show any of them to you, but I did buy a few select things. Firstly, I bought this little ceramic guy at the Japan art market at Robson Square. Look at it, I just can't resist this cute little jar. I love it so much. Next, at the Le Pont Theatre, I got this checkered warm mug. This is from Risky Ceramics, and it also has a little strawberry at the bottom. Isn't that just so sweet? And then the last thing I got at the Japan pop-up market is this hangry cat sticker. Hangry, 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 hangry. And I believe that wraps up every crafty thing I did this holiday season. Now, you might be wondering, did I actually get a break considering everything I just listed here? And the answer is, technically, yes. Think of it this way. There was no way I could have done all of these crafty things and be consistently uploading videos at the same time. I mean, I guess I could, but it would be bad for me. So yes, I did get quite a bit of break in between doing all these projects. I got to just like relax whenever I wanted to and not feel the super imposing deadline of needing to do a bunch of things at the same time. Yeah, I'm really glad I took the break. 10 out of 10, would recommend, but I'm really excited to get back into video production, and hopefully I'll be back soon with even more crafting videos. I'll see y'all then. Bye!